Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Mechanized Bestiary, where I talk about the various NPC you could face in a Lancer campaign. So, after finishing on all normal NPC, let's talk about the special classes. First up, Human. Pilots, VIP, bystanders. If you, the Game Master, need to present one on board, use this. Player characters, obviously have their own stat if they dare to walk out of their mech. And like any people in a mech-dominated battlefield, a single human isn't going to do much damage, but they can still do some damage. If required, there's upgrades specific to the human NPC to make them slightly tougher, but it will still be a far cry from being in a vehicle. Another thing to note, human cannot take templates or gain structure, and human also have a biological tag, which means they don't have heat cap, cannot be affected by most tech action besides scan or lock on, and when taking heat, well, what do you think could happen to a human that took too much heat? If you want a group of human soldiers instead, use Squad. Squad is basically a squad of infantry armed with the best or worst infantry armaments of the 51st century U. While they still won't be as powerful as a mech, the majority of weapons used by mechs are designed to counter other mechs or vehicles, as such they were less effective against infantry. Now, that's not to say it doesn't work well against them. An autocannon can still pulverize a soldier, but that's like 1 or 2 guys out of 10. You want them dead, you better use something that wipes the entire area out, like an explosion, and once you render enough of them as casualty, their firepower would get reduced. Squad also has biological tag, meaning hacker-focused mech is going to be very useless against them. Besides that, Squad still has tricks of their own, and with enough number, even Lancers can be overwhelmed. So, to Game Master, Squad is probably the real actual cannon fodder NPC that you can deploy to fill up the field. Use it if you want something to round up your NPC composition, or prepare an interesting alternative challenge to your players. Of course, don't actually use too many of them, just enough to keep pressure on your players. And like Human, Squad cannot take any templates or gain structure either. And finally, Monstrosities. Monstrosities are basically kaiju, giant monsters for you to punch and shoot up. Monstrosities could honestly be considered as a category on its own due to the sheer amount of mutations it could take, making it a very real possibility that every fight with a monstrosity is a unique challenge, but for the most part, monstrosities don't have ranged attack capability, so just don't stand too close. Monstrosities are also biological, so don't be the goblin near one. To Game Master, monstrosities are exactly that, an alternative form of enemies you could use against your players as the story demands. There's basically enough mutations for you to make up any kind of kaiju you want, and if that's not enough, cut something from the normal NPC and just jury-rigged it, you know you want a bionic T-Rex. And unlike Human or Squad, monstrosities can take templates, so you can create some truly crazy shit. Basically, go nuts. And that's about it for all NPC classes available from the Lancer core rulebook. I will continue the series when the various Lancer supplements finally come out and I hear there's quite a few interesting and crazy NPC concepts in those. Anyway, until then, have fun, and I will see you all next time.